It's another week, and guess what? We're here to talk about everything money, business, and everything in between. My name is Cassandra. Follow us on social media. It's MoneyHub_official on all social media platforms, and my personal page is at Cassandra World. I just started a new YouTube series, and you definitely need to hear it. You need to see it, so subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm excited about my guest today. I've hosted him before, but today is another wing, and I'm super excited to have this conversation when it comes to digital migration in Africa. Very, very important. Now, my guest today is Mr. Eric Nsako. He is the head of engineering at Stanbic Bank, and none other to educate us and to help us understand how we have migrated. Are we doing well? Are we there yet? Will we get there? My guest today will help us to understand. We welcome you, Mr. Nsako.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to have you again.
Thank you.
You have been at the forefront of digitalization in Ghana, from the telcos to the bank. Tell us, how has it been from 15 years ago up until now? And what are the evident transformations that we can say has happened in these years?
Well, since you used the precise time frame of 15 years ago, almost to the year.
2007 or 2000?
I think I started at Tigo in January 2008.
Okay.
And at the time, the internet backbone of Tigo was 4 megabytes per second, which is what you get on your phone now.
Okay.
So I think there was nothing really.
There was nothing. So there's been a whole lot of transformation from then until now.
Back. I mean, the issues of the business were how to get email going and stability and the basics. So we've come a long way, but at the same time, we are nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, we've done mobile money, we've done smartphones, we have fiber broadband in maybe 80,000 homes. The world, in the meantime, has done electric cars. It has put personal journeys on the moon. It has wired all households in Italy. It has done wonders with content. So we've not done anything. We've sort of looked at it and felt that our economy is still in the hands of the bastions of cocoa, of oil, even manganese. How much of that are we going to generate in the next so many years? And sometimes we forget. I hear all sorts of journeys about let's diversify into cashew, into cowpea, and so on and so forth. When you get the production record right, the price will fall. The world economy only needs a certain number of cups of coffee. So I don't think I, as an individual, have fought my battles.
You think you think we could have done more?
I've done a lot.
You've done a lot.
From an individual standpoint.
Yes.
We were at Tigo, we were at Airtel, we were at MTN, we've gone into banking, we've put a lot together, we've partnered with universities, we've taught students, we've fostered the nurturing for entrepreneurs. We've done a lot. If I wanted to sit down and say, what have I done? Maybe I've contributed a lot.
A lot. I'm sure you have.
I have my battle scars.
Yes. But if you look at all these years, what could we have done slightly different to be able to not to catch up to get to where the world is now, but what is it that perhaps if we did differently, we could have gotten to a good level by now?
Yeah. There's a song that goes, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. I won't give you the second line, it's not good.
I'm trying to figure out what song it is, but I'll find it. I'm sure after the show I'll find it.
No, you won't like it. But we need knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to get into the processes and understand why our society is the way it is. Because it comes from the creative energy that is unlocked from who we are. Creativity is life, my brother used to say. So the collective heritage of our history, what gets into our forts and castles, what gets into our palaces, those are the things that an engineer must unlock to be able to create a platform, to synthesize an idea and make it less ambiguous. So we have not researched into creativity. We have not built the engineering muscle.
Okay.
The things that I did in the engineering laboratory in chemical engineering were perhaps too basic, because if I have to monitor the temperatures of a process and record them and graph them, what is the understanding behind that?
Yeah.
How do you actually create a nuclear material out of a non-nuclear? What are you doing? And those conversations need to be interrogated at all levels. We need to be curious. And I don't think we've done much, because digital technology is life. It is everything.
Yes. Where we are now, it is life. You'll get to a point, if you don't have a smartphone, whether you went to school or not, you won't count. You can't do anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think 15 years ago, we gave President Kufuor a system, evidence-based policy monitoring or policy management, I don't remember. But that was what was supposed to monitor the 21 priorities of Kufuor. National health insurance, national youth employment, West Africa gas pipeline, emergency power. It was all there, and it was very simple.
Yeah.
It changed to red if it was out of, if it was behind schedule, and it changed to green if it was on track. The indicators were there. How many people do you want to feed in school feeding? It was there. We built a prototype for free. A young man called Kobi Amakun. Wherever you find him, honor his name.
Wow.
He was a teaching assistant from the University of Ghana. He programmed it, and he did not charge us money. He told me the only thing he needed was to visit the castle. So I took him to the castle.
Oh, okay.
When we met Joe Bedu Ansah, who was a minister at the time, we met Nana Komia, who was a minister. We met my favorite minister at the time was Boniface Siddiq. When he met us, two of his buttons were open. And he said, this thing must work. That was water expansion to feed Accra East with Wager water, I think.
Fast forward, have we done anything with that?
I was invited to a tender after we had built the prototype in Akosombo. And I looked at the tender list, and I saw that it was almost as if you are doing a tender of carpenters. You invited 2 plumbers and 1 carpenter. So I looked at it and I thought, this thing doesn't look clean. So I resigned. Cassandra, you know my story.
I know, and sometimes I wish that you did not say it as it is, but knowing you, you definitely do that. All right, let's go for a quick break when we're back. Still more digital migration conversation here with Mr. Eric Nsako. You just couldn't get the truth, nothing but the truth. We'll be right back. Lovely to be back. You're still watching The Money Hub with Cassandra. Today we're talking about digital migration in Africa. We're at a point where we definitely need to catch up. But how are we going to do that? We need to have the expert talk to us. And when they develop and they give us the advice, we definitely need to take it. One of such persons is the head of engineering at Stanbic Bank, Mr. Eric Nsako. He's my guest today. If you missed the first part, you definitely need to catch up on that. So check us on social media, MoneyHub_official on all social media platforms. Do follow. Mr. Nsako, let's, before we went on a break, we were talking about, you quit. Yeah, I do understand that. COVID kind of has pushed us into where, it would have taken us a few more years to get in there, but we realized that a crisis has pushed us there. It wasn't too pleasant. People have lost, their loved ones. But for those of us who were privileged to have lived, now we understand that we need to we either be there or we know where. Do you think or do you feel like crisis brings opportunities? Let me put it that way. I sound a bit, for someone who lost a loved one, will be thinking what she's saying. But for the rest of us who are fortunate to be alive, it's almost as if the crisis is what has pushed us. Can we create more artificial crisis situations to push us if the pushing is not there?
Well, I mean, COVID, definitely, the digital traffic on the telecom networks was manifest by, it was testimony to how COVID pushed digital behavior and work from home and online, restaurants and so on and so forth. So We survived. I mean, I'm testimony to that we survived because of the digital opportunity.
Yes.
What did we do with it? I don't know. Because the telecom industry, as far as I'm concerned, I've not commented on telecom since I left over a year ago, but the telecom industry is an industry crying for a strategy. MTN is, I mean, what we put in MTN is very difficult to overpower because we built a platform that started from a voice network in 2011 when I joined. And I recall that in the 2012, the regulator, Barrock Van Persie, my senior, I work with him every Saturday, and he banned MTN from selling SIM cards until they could fix the network. Calls were not going through. I remember in, I think, February 2012, 5 million people were cut off the network. Things were happening. Michael Ikpoki, who recruited me into MTN, recruited me perhaps with a vision that I should create a business solutions department, which was wholesale capacity to internet service providers. It was the dedicated internet, the bulk stuff, and all of that. But in addition to that, we needed to fix the network. So I went to Michael Ikpoki and I told him that this thing is not working. This thing is never going to work because I gave him the analogy that if you take the water distribution network, it is a network that is made up of pipes and valves.
Yeah.
If you know where the pipes are, you've done half the job. But if those valves are closed, there will be no water. The internet is like that. The internet is made up of backbones and cables and servers and root servers and so on and so forth. That is one side. But the internet protocol, TCP/IP, that is the valve of the internet ecosystem. And we didn't have anybody who understood TCP/IP.
Okay.
So in all what we were doing, it was a collection of individuals lying to each other. And the full industry was like that. I just left Tigo, I had been at Airtel. The people
So
were not there.
you've been around
Yeah.
and you,
But I knew the people within the
Okay.
team, but they were at the wrong job level. They were not the CTOs, they were not the big people.
Okay.
Myself, my chief commodity has probably been that I talk too much. So at that time, I told Ikpoki that the people you have cannot do it.
Cannot do it. But then we had people who could do it.
But I know a person.
Okay.
His name is Andrew Aite
Right.
Bule. And if you find Aite Bule in this place, MTN will work. So they called Aite, he came and he gave them his terms. Said he would not be an employee of MTN. He would be a consultant, to MTN.
Okay.
You fix it. Sometimes you need a consultant. Today, banking needs a consultant.
That's true.
But at that time, Telecom needed a consultant. Aite Bule took it, created a team, swapped out what they call the IP MPLS, the core of the network. He took it out and put a new one in.
Yeah.
And then they fixed the transmission lines. They put what they call IP over RAN and all sorts of things to put what is now there in place. As a result of that, we were able to bring in the smartphones. Of course, at that time, I was on the enterprise side until 2013. We got a new CEO. Michael moved on to Nigeria.
Okay.
And when Serami Takobon came, he said, okay, fine. You've put in place the enterprise network now. We can do cloud hosting. We can do telemetry, the Internet of Things. We can do all these great wonders. But we have only 4,000 corporates. So we have on the other side 12 million subscribers at the time. So move to sales and distribution. Let's see what you can do. That day, for the first time, I woke up in the morning and all I could say was Rastafari.
God has done it.
The job was almost impossible.
Yes.
It was a collection again of scratch cards, voice phones, YAM phones. Data was a conversation for after the meeting. Yapona Yako.
Yeah.
Oh, was there something about data?
Data.
GPRS, those types of things we talked about. SMS and some, you know. But layer by layer, once the IP was in place, we started to get the smartphones in place. I said to them at the time that I'm not going to go with Apple and Samsung and Huawei to the smartphone journey. So one morning I visited Tipto Lane. I sat down at the bench behind the old Tipto Gardens. It's now a church, I think. And that day I saw Ajiman phones. I saw Freddie's Corner. I saw Ben's phones. I saw all the big men of Tipto.
Yeah.
They asked me what brought me to Tipto Lane. I said, I want to partner. I want to buy a new phone from Huawei. Who will sell it? They said, well, maybe for the first time, some sense coming through.
Wow.
And we started to talk. So I said to them, if I bring these phones myself, what will happen? They said, we'll bring them too, and they'll be cheaper. So I said, then you bring mine. And that's when they gave me microfilm pong from KJTR. The rest is history.
Yeah.
M-Horse brought those phones, the KaiOS phone. This is the same phone that the Harvard Business Review has written about. In terms
This
of,
really tells me that you've really been in the center of
I've been
a
everywhere.
lot of, you know,
everywhere.
it has helped us in migrating to where we are, even though you say it's not enough.
The only thing
But
that matters in this country is a politician, not a corporate person.
he just said it. Oh
Or a
my
pastor.
God.
Or a pastor.
He just said it. But, you know, for us young people, we see that there's a lot of opportunity. We want to be there. We want to, you know, especially for this generation that listens to the Money Hub, we're looking for the new opportunities. Where do you see us in a few years, and what do you think we can most definitely do to ensure that by the time, you know, everybody starts to come, we're already there, we're taking advantage of the opportunities?
Look, I started my journey when I was 23 years old, and I went to Valco. And people before me had confidence in me. Norbert Ambeni, he asked me to design a dustbin. I was so happy because I could go and use my engineering drawing skills to do a dustbin.
A dustbin?
And when we finished, he said to me that, look, the handle is too sharp. It will cut you.
Oh,
So always make it round.
okay.
And I said, wow, that's the biggest engineering lesson that I've ever had. So I've had confidence in the youth from the day that I graduated from school and I was no longer considered to be youth. But I cannot say that about the corporate culture. I cannot say that about the political culture. We see it for what it is. The church, the family, a lot of places. I have an auntie, Letitia, in whom I'm well pleased. She's 83 this year. But she says to me that, Wafa PJ is me akola. So because Wafa PJ is 91. So what
Yeah.
it goes to the core of who we are, whether the courts of the chiefs will hear the young people.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, I see here Malcolm X. Malcolm X says that no one can give you peace or liberty or something like that. If you're a man, you take it. So nobody has given me freedom.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there are many establishments, there are taboos, there are top spiritual topics, there are corporate hierarchies, you take it.
So in actual sense, if we want a seat at the table, we just have to.
You just
we
pull
just
the
have
chair
to
and sit down.
Put the chair and sit down.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Put the chair and sit down, because nobody's going to really invite you to come sit.
There will never come a time for people to be ushered in for their rightful place.
Yeah.
But if you take it, you come, and of course, you need to wash your hands before you eat with elders.
Yeah.
So you come and you make those submissions that
Yes.
are going to change the... Look, at the end of the day, when I was a young man, the managing director of British American Tobacco was Jimmy Adonogdi. And during the Y2K rollover, I was in the server room at Accra office. I was trying very hard to change the CD drive so I could install the antivirus patches. Adonogdi opened the door and he said, what's your problem? I heard you finished in Takrady. What are you doing here? And I said, Accra, nothing had been done when I found out. And he said, what do you need? I said, a CD drive. And I just requested from procurement in Takrady. He said, I'm the managing director. Who sells the CD drive? And I said, there are some in Accra. And he said, come for a letter. I'll sign it. Go for the CD drive and we'll be ready. When you finish, go home to your family and rest. That's Adonogdi. He's no more, right? People have done things for us. I worked under Martinez on Benjamin. He took me to Heineken in December 2000. I sat there. The CEOs were trying to prepare a template for the world after, you know, the dot-com bubble and so on and so forth. And they didn't understand it. I didn't understand it either. At the lunchtime, I was at the table. Rolf Dusima, Group Chief Information Officer of Heineken, he came, he pulled a chair. I had 30 seconds, basically, to finish my story because I saw he was organizing the event. And he said, who are you? What are you doing here? And I said, well, I was only a 30-year-old. And I said, well, I'm Chief Information Officer for Ghana Breweries, and nothing is working. I've tried for 1 year. I've tried to change this, change that, change that.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll help you. And I said, but who are you? And he said, Dusima. I stood up. I said, Group Chief. He said, yes. And said, I need you in Amsterdam. That's what Dusima told me that day. 1.5 years later, I started my contract in Amsterdam. But it was not without bulldozing. Many people tried to stop me. Emails were sent to Amsterdam to say that I'm busy, this and that and that and that.
But you just have to take it.
If you're a man, you take it.
If you're a man, you take it. My guest today has been Mr. Eric Isako. It's been very insightful. Yes, you've heard a lot of truth in this interview, but most importantly, you know, we need to migrate. We need to get there. And for you that have heard us today, you do know that you just have to take it, pull the chair and sit down. Learn how to wash your hands, and you will definitely be bambering with the big guys. Thank you very much, Mr. Isako. Thank you. It's
Most
been an
welcome.
honor having you again.
Most
All
welcome.
right. He is the head of engineering at Stanbic Bank. You know I bamba with the big guys. All right, follow us on social media, MoneyHub_official, and my personal page, Cassandra. Next week, I'll be coming your way again with more conversations that will transform your life. Bye-bye.